Home is where we find safety and comfort. But did you know that within that familiar space, seemingly harmless items can pose cancer risks? Everyday objects, from cooking pans to food containers, can release toxic substances that often go unnoticed. Today, we'll reveal 11 common household items you need to be wary of. Understanding these potential risks will help you protect the health of yourself and your loved ones. Eliminate these dangers from your own home. Let's explore and find ways to make our lives safer and healthier. 1. Non-stick cookware. Non-stick cookware has become a favorite choice in many households due to its easy, non-stick cooking and cleaning. However, when the non-stick coating on these cookware items is scratched or exposed to high temperatures, harmful chemicals like perfluoroalkylic acid, PFOA, and per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAs, can be released. These chemicals can easily leach into food and accumulate in the body, causing long-term negative health effects, including an increased risk of cancer. PFOA and PFAs have been studied and shown to be associated with various serious health problems, from liver damage to endocrine disorders and even cancer. To minimize these risks, it's recommended to replace non-stick cookware as soon as you see signs of damage or peeling. Additionally, consider using safer cookware options like cast iron, stainless steel, or ceramic pans to ensure that every meal is not only delicious but also safe for your family's health. 2. Wooden cutting boards. A familiar and indispensable kitchen tool in every home, wooden cutting boards can also pose potential health risks. If not cleaned and maintained properly, their porous surface and high moisture absorption can make them a breeding ground for bacteria, mold, and especially aflatoxin, a dangerous type of mold that can cause liver cancer. Aflatoxins are produced by Aspergillus flavus and Aspergillus parasiticus molds, which thrive in damp, dark conditions, ideal conditions that can exist on a damp wooden cutting board. When you cut food on a wooden cutting board, especially raw food, bacteria and mold can easily contaminate your food. It's recommended to thoroughly clean wooden cutting boards with dish soap and hot water, then dry them completely after each use. To further enhance safety, regularly inspect wooden cutting boards and replace them if you see any signs of mold or damage. If possible, consider using plastic or glass cutting boards for foods that are prone to bacterial contamination, such as raw meat, to minimize risks. 3. Moldy chopsticks. A familiar utensil in every Vietnamese meal, chopsticks can become a health hazard if not properly stored and cleaned. Wooden and bamboo chopsticks are particularly susceptible to mold growth if they are not dried completely after washing or are left in damp places. Mold on chopsticks can be a source of aflatoxin, one of the most potent liver carcinogens. Aflatoxin is not only harmful to the liver but can also increase the risk of other diseases with long-term exposure. This is particularly concerning because chopsticks come into direct contact with our food and mouths daily. To avoid this risk, it's recommended to change your chopstick usage habits, especially by regularly checking and replacing them when you see signs of mold or damage. Dispose of them immediately. Using chopsticks made from other materials like stainless steel or safe plastic is also a good alternative, giving you more peace of mind at every meal. 4. Plastic containers. Plastic containers are commonly used for food storage due to their convenience and reusability. However, many people don't know that using plastic containers for hot or acidic foods can lead to serious health risks. Some types of plastic, especially those containing bisphenol A, BPA, and bisphenol S, BPS, can release harmful chemicals when heated or exposed to acidic foods. BPA and BPS have been extensively studied and are known to be endocrine disruptors, affecting children's development and linked to cancer. To ensure the safety of your health and your family's, it's recommended to avoid using plastic containers for hot food. Instead, use containers made from glass, stainless steel, or BPA-free plastics. Especially when you need to reheat food, use heat-resistant materials like glass to ensure your meals are not contaminated with harmful substances. 5. Curtains and carpets. Curtains not only decorate and create a cozy atmosphere in your home but also play an important role in soundproofing and insulation. However, if there are smokers in your house, curtains and carpets can become reservoirs for harmful substances from cigarette smoke, including carcinogens like benzopyrene. Cigarette smoke is not only harmful to smokers but also seriously affects those around them through secondhand smoke. The toxic substances in cigarette smoke can cling to curtains, carpets, and other surfaces in the house, then evaporate into the air or come into contact with the skin when touched. To protect your family's health, it's recommended to wash curtains and carpets regularly to remove these harmful substances. If possible, maintain a smoke-free living environment to minimize these risks. 6. Candles. Candles create a warm, romantic, and relaxing atmosphere in the home, but some types of candles can be a source of toxic substances when burned, especially paraffin candles, a type of wax derived from petroleum. When burned, they can release volatile organic compounds, VOCs, like benzene and toluene, both of which are carcinogens. Additionally, many scented candles contain synthetic fragrances that can produce harmful byproducts when burned. Long-term exposure to these substances can irritate the respiratory tract, cause headaches, dizziness, and even increase the risk of serious diseases like lung cancer. To create a safer living environment, it's recommended to choose candles made from beeswax, natural soy, or unscented candles. Also, burn candles in a well-ventilated area to minimize the amount of harmful substances in the air. 7. Thermal paper. Thermal paper is commonly used in receipt printers at supermarkets, stores, and many other places. However, few people know that this type of paper can contain BPA, a chemical that can disrupt the endocrine system and is linked to various types of cancer. BPA can be absorbed through the skin when you handle receipts and then come into contact with food or drinks if you don't wash your hands before eating. This is particularly concerning for people who frequently handle thermal paper, such as cashiers or store employees. To protect your health, it's recommended to minimize direct contact with thermal paper, especially before eating or drinking. If you frequently handle receipts, wear gloves or wash your hands thoroughly after touching thermal paper to reduce the risk of BPA exposure. 8. Plastic utensils. Plastic utensils have become an indispensable part of modern life, from water bottles and food containers to other kitchenware. However, many people don't know that many types of plastic contain chemicals like BPA and BPS, which can leach into food or drinks, especially when heated. These chemicals have been studied and shown to disrupt the endocrine system, affect the reproductive system, and increase the risk of developing cancer. This is even more dangerous when plastic is used to store hot food or drinks, making it easier for these chemicals to leach into the food. To minimize these risks, it's recommended to switch to utensils made from safer materials like glass, stainless steel, or BPA-free plastics. Check labels and choose products with health safety symbols to ensure your family is always protected from potential risks. 9. Paints and coatings. Paints and coatings are used to decorate and protect surfaces in the home, but they can also contain harmful volatile organic compounds, VOCs. VOCs are chemicals that can evaporate at room temperature and cause various health problems, from eye, nose, and throat irritation to headaches, nausea, and even liver and kidney damage. Long-term exposure to VOCs can increase the risk of cancer, especially lung cancer. When using paints or coatings indoors, VOCs can evaporate and accumulate in the air, polluting the living environment. To minimize risks, it's recommended to choose paints and coatings that are VOC-free or low VOC, and always ensure good ventilation during and after application. This not only helps protect the health of you and your family but also helps maintain a clean and safe living space. 10. Cleaning supplies and household chemicals. Cleaning supplies and household chemicals are used daily to clean and maintain hygiene in the home. However, many of these products contain toxic compounds like formaldehyde, chlorine, and ammonia, which can irritate the skin, eyes, and respiratory tract. Formaldehyde, a preservative commonly found in many cleaning and household products, has been classified as a carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC. Long-term exposure to these chemicals can increase the risk of developing cancer and chronic respiratory diseases. To protect your health, it's recommended to choose natural cleaning products that are free from toxic chemicals and always wear gloves when handling these substances. Also, ensure your living space is well ventilated to minimize the concentration of evaporated chemicals in the air. 11. Old electronic devices. Electronic devices like cell phones, computers, TVs, and other electronics can contain heavy metals like lead, mercury, and cadmium, which can seriously harm your health if not handled properly. Lead, for example, can damage the nervous system and even cause cancer with long-term exposure. Mercury and cadmium are also toxic metals that can damage the kidneys, liver, and respiratory system. When these electronic devices break or are not disposed of properly, these heavy metals can leach out, polluting the environment and harming human health. To minimize risks, it's recommended to dispose of electronic devices safely, not throwing them away carelessly. Instead, find reputable collection and recycling points. This not only helps protect your health but also contributes to protecting the surrounding environment. Maintaining a safe living environment is crucial to protect the health of you and your family. By identifying and replacing potentially harmful items, you can reduce the risk of cancer and other health problems. Remember that small changes in your daily life can make a big difference to your long-term health. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more information and tips on how to protect your health. Always be vigilant and wise in choosing items for your home to have a healthy and peaceful life.